Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of Mish Mayhem,
Mish Mayhem.
the podcast where we take the schoolyard conversation of which one of these fictional characters would win in a fight, and we talk about it on a podcast.
That's I believe that's what this is, isn't it?
Is it? Are you sure?
So who are we?
I'm Chris,
I'm Matt or Wade or Matt Wade.
the man with a different name for every day of the week.
I could have a different name for every day of the week, couldn't I? And I could have them themed each day. So Monday I could just be Matt, because Monday Matt. Then Tuesday I could be Tam, so it's Matt backwards and we can do a T. Then Wednesday I could be Wade.
Well, obviously Wade's Day, yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about
Then
that.
Thursday I could be the ultimate destroyer of universes, Lord Matt Wade.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Then Friday I could be fuck you. I mean that makes it explicit. I could be
That'd be fine. You could just be like, fuck you, I'm Matt Wade.
yeah, exactly. Then Saturday I'll be Steve, and then Sunday is my rest day, so I don't have a name.
Oh, okay. Just him.
Just hey, how's it going? Yeah, if anyone says like, oh hey Wade, I'll be like, I'll ignore them.
Oh,
It's a Wednesday name.
and she'll be like, hey, you, listen.
Hey, listen. Hey, classic. Oh dear. So welcome to episode 10.
Episode
of
10.
We're into
Double digits.
episode 10. Yeah, we're into double figures. We've reached the limit of how many fingers you have in your hands. We've reached the limit of the amount of single-digit numbers that humans come to represent in their daily lives.
Welcome to the world of counting on your toes. I suppose that would be starting next week, wouldn't it? Oh, no, not next week. 2 weeks. Next episode. Blah, 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 blah.
I mean, if we were doing this in like hexadecimal, it'd be great because when we get to episode 13, it'd be like, welcome to episode 1A or whatever. I don't know quite how hexadecimal
No,
works. But we're not doing that. It's episode 10.
episode
So what we're going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to introduce our characters, our competitors, our champions, our canonically bully guardians, in order, starting with the reigning champion and then the challenger, and go through what they like doing, what kind of weapons they have, how good they are with these weapons, what kind of fighting skills and defensive skills they might have to their what's the word I'm looking for?
repertoire.
It's a good word, to their repertoire. And go through these one by one. After that, we're then gonna roll the Die of Death.
Die of death.
A icosahedron with many faces, 20 I believe. Except in fact, I know it's exactly 20 because that's what it is, and that's going to determine where these two combatants are going to meet. And this time we're gonna go, oh well, let's do this for this battlefield, and then we're gonna have a talk about who we think might win. So who's starring this week?
Got Lillith as our reigning champion. She's won her Mish and her Mash. Will episode 10 be where she gets her Mayhem?
I mean, if she's the reigning champion, and she's fire related, she probably ought to be careful because she might get put out. She might get doused.
Yeah, I know, it's spelled differently.
Oh.
Yeah, it's champion with a Z.
Just champion. The reigning is a champion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, obviously, reigning is spelled different, not champion, because that would be silly.
It would. Right, Lillith. Let's go.
Lillith is from the Borderlands games. Great games. They're very fun. Let's shoot things. Billions of guns!
Millions.
No, billions. Billions now. So many guns.
All the guns.
Gun for every season. And she is a siren, one of the 6 sirens that exist within the Borderlands universe. A siren is a woman who is able to use magical powers.
What kind of magical powers?
Well, in the case of... It's different for each of the sirens, actually. But in the case of Lillith, she is able to use phase walking. This is an ability that allows her to turn invisible and invulnerable. And while she is in this state, she can travel really fast. It's crazy. She can basically keep up with the cars and stuff while she's in her phase walk. It's mad. She can be in her phase walk for 6 seconds, which isn't a long time, but considering how ridiculous it is, it's pretty cool. Upon entering and exiting her phase walk, she will do a phase blast, which is an explosion of elemental energy. We have stuck with the canonic fire element for her phase blast, because fire.
And because canonical.
Because canonical. Yes. And then there is, in the Borderlands universe, some magical crystal-y thing called iridium, which you can use as an alternative currency in the game. But also, story-wise, sirens can use it to heal their wounds or make their attacks more magically powerful. There was one instance in Borderlands 2 where, using the power of iridium, Lillith was able to phase walk not just herself, but an entire city out the way of some, I believe, missiles.
Pretty rad.
Crazy. She was like, oh no, this city is about to be blown up. And moved it out of the way. Yeah, obviously that was the noise of moving an entire city with an immense magical power.
I mean, I remember it well.
Yeah. So, that's the sort of crazy stuff we're talking about. But she won't have, well, I don't know, unless they end up battling in an iridium field, that probably won't happen. She'll just have her normal power. As we've discussed in the previous episodes, the Lillith we are using is going to be very much the metagame powered Lillith, because there are, in the Borderlands universe, is quite expansive, well, maybe not expansive, but there's fairly detailed skill trees. Varied is the word I'm looking for. But we've decided to go down like the optimizing skills to get what gamers consider the best version of Lillith. So she has got skills that power up her elemental damage, power up her melee attacks, power up her critical hits, and power up her SMGs and sniper rifle.
Well, get her.
I know, right?
I wish I had all those things.
Yeah, me too. That would be pretty awesome. I mean, I wish I could just turn invisible for 6 seconds and then explode in a ball of fire. That'd be really cool. Because she has those abilities, it means that her magic is really cool. It means if she gets a headshot, it does even more damage than headshots already do. And let's be honest, headshots tend to do a lot of damage anyway. I suppose a critical hit isn't necessarily a headshot. It's just hit where it is weak. But that is typically the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it means she's just better with SMGs and sniper rifles. And her punching stuff does more damage. It's cool. For this reason, she's going to come into this fight equipped with an SMG and a sniper rifle. And then, because her melee stuff is good, she'd probably have an interest in getting in close into combat sometimes. So she's going to bring a shotgun as well. And then she's going to have her fourth and final pistol. The pistol is just a pretty default versatile weapon. So, as we sort of said, with the varied different guns that Borderlands universe has, we're going to find out what element these guns are by rolling a d4.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, the 4 elements in the Borderlands universe are fire, static, corrosive, and explosive. Fire sets things on fire, very good on flesh. Static electrocutes things, very good against shields. Corrosive melts things, very good on armor. And explosive blows up, it's just high-powered damage to everything. So, do you want to go through as well the elements of the weapon at this juncture?
Okay, right, I have a dice ready.
Okay, so yeah, 1 is fire, 2 is static, 3 is corrosive, and 4 is explosive. Let's start with the SMG. What element will it be?
3.
3. That is corrosive. What about the sniper rifle?
2.
That is static. What about the shotgun?
1.
That is flaming. And what about the pistol?
1.
Also flaming. So she's got a fire pistol and shotgun, a corrosive SMG, and a static sniper rifle. That's pretty cool.
It's not bad, is it?
I always think when I'm playing Borderlands, static sniper rifle is probably the best one to have, because then you can pick people's shields off from a long distance and then swap to a flame weapon and burn them. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about with Lillith, because we mentioned it in the last episode while she was fighting Bomberman, but I've never actually talked about it in her definition, which is perhaps a fault of my own, is that people in the Borderlands universe have shields. That's why the static weapons exist.
Yeah, it's true, they do.
Yeah, there are also many different types of shield, as well as many different types of gun. But I think to keep things a bit more simple, she's just going to have a standard shield, as opposed to one of the shields they're basically just like a electronic device that absorbs X amount of damage. Once they are depleted, it will then start hurting the actual person and taking away from their health. But after a few seconds, the shield will recharge. So, shields are handy.
Shields are handy.
And it basically means to actually wear down their health, you have to keep doing sustained damage to them. You can't do like a little bit and then leave it for a while and then do another little bit, because the shield will recharge.
So true. But they tend to take a couple of seconds to charge them.
Yeah. I mean, it does depend on the shield. Usually, the better the shield, the longer it takes to recharge.
Very, very good. Very good.
So yeah, I just thought it'd be worth mentioning that briefly. But like I say,
Absolutely.
although there are many shields that have different and wonderful abilities, as is part of the crazy way the universe of Borderlands works, I'm just going to keep her with a standard shield to try and keep things a bit more simple.
Yeah, very reasonable.
Stop her being sort of too OP in this fight. Yeah, so that's essentially Lillith. That's what she does. I mean, her fire powers have been considered godlike by some, mainly by lunatics who just worship fire. But yeah, she is. She's pretty cool. She's very powerful. She's ready to take on the new challenger to see if she can join Drax in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, like, not that we, want to spoil anything, but I have a feeling that she's in with a good chance.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I also think that like who she's against might be surprisingly decent.
Okay, no, we will see. So, what was the clue I gave? Can you remember?
Yes. Clue was that they're pink, and that you can and traditionally you can name them. And you said you would. Ready for today?
I've decided what team I'm going with. My standard classical Pokemon team.
That's cool. And also you were just emphasising the fact it's a there, and not she or him or.
I was. You're not wrong.
It's there, as in they are, not as in as in multiple people.
Multiple different things.
Because this will be the first time that there has been more than 2 people in this combat.
I would like to say people is a strong word, because today's entrant from this side is a user suggestion. Comes from, who does it come from?
It was from Rob.
Comes from Rob. Thank you, Rob, for your suggestion. I enjoyed your suggestion a lot.
Yes, I know. It's certainly a game Wade is very into. Or should I say Steve, because it is Saturday.
Yes, yes, you should. Yes, but it is going to be a team of worms. Now, I don't know if Rob had a particular game in mind, but I'm the one doing it, and I know Worms 2 better than any of the other games, so that's the one I'm going to go going for.
We have spent a lot of our life playing Worms 2.
That's a fantastic game.
It is a great game. I would argue the best Worms game.
I would agree. Some people would say Worms Armageddon is better, and to them I say, you fools!
Actually, I was just thinking, because they've kind of gone back to the old school style with Worms lately, haven't they? And I think not the most recent one that had all the vehicles, that was Battlegrounds, but the one before it might actually be better than Worms 2. It's out of that one or Worms 2.
What was the one before it? Was that Worms Armageddon, or was that after it?
No, I mean the one before the most recent one.
Oh, sorry. Well, Worms MWD was the latest one, wasn't it?
No, that's the one I'm thinking of. Worms WMD.
Ah, I see.
Battlegrounds has come out since then. Battlegrounds has vehicles.
Oh, I see. I did not realise that.
Weird art style. Yeah, I've got it. You can play it next time you're around, but I think WMD is better. Anyway, so yeah. But are you going with Worms 2, Worms?
I am going with Worms 2.
That's cool.
I don't know how many worms they should have, because I think the standard would be 4. Right? You'd make a team of 8 worms in the standard. If you just went to a standard quick game, it would be 4 worms.
Yes, it would be 4.
I think 4 seems like a reasonable number.
Yeah, or maybe split the difference and have 6.
But we aren't splitting the difference. We both said 4.
Oh, alright. Yeah, I meant between like a standard and a full. But I don't mind. Up to you.
No, we'll go with 4. 4's like the reasonable number. Okay, so for those of you who haven't played Worms, Worms is a turn-based war game. I was about to say strategy game, and I suppose there is strategy to it, but it's mostly a playing game. It's 2D, and worms from this universe are incredibly artilleristic. That's not a real word, but it is.
They use artillery.
They do. Savage and cruel and incredibly hardy. I don't have much to say about their unique powers other than they can jump. That's right. These worms can jump a grand total of about 2 times their body length, or they can backflip to about twice their body height. It's pretty good for a worm.
Right. So what's that? They can jump about an inch or backflip about an inch high.
Yes. Yes, it is. Alongside that, they also have arms. How many worms do you know with arms? I don't know any worms with arms.
They don't really have arms. They've just kind of got hands.
That's a fair point. They do kind of just have floating hands. But they can also talk. And talking is a great asset in combat. So you can tell your enemy such things such as, "Ha, you missed, you loser," and tell your allies, "Traitor," when they hit you with their poorly fired bazooka bullet.
Suck on this!
Suck on this! Suck on me! I'm a worm! As far as special powers goes, that's about it. But as far as artillery and arms goes, whoa, we're into a little wonderland of joy here. A standard worm, for the record, has 100 arbitrary health units, because, a lot of games like to digitize health in some kind of way. And worms is no exception. Standard worms, about 100 health. We're going for standard settings on all weapons, and we're probably just going to go with a standard weapon set as well, because it makes it easy, and it doesn't involve giant things. We're not going to go through all the weapons, but in great detail. But essentially, they have access to things such as a bazooka, which is a long-range artillery weapon, which can be fired, and it's incredibly vulnerable to wind, but that is often used to advantage of the worms. They'll often be like, "Oh, I can't get that guy, he's all the way over there. Oh wait, the wind's blowing that way." Fire it, arcs beautifully, and sails straight into the worm's face.
Oh wait, that's the point. We're going to have to decide what the wind is.
We'll get there when we get there. This is going to be a confusing one. If a bazooka is exceptionally well aimed, 2 shots will topple a worm. That's right, a goddamn worm can take 2 bazookas to the face, probably 3. They also have access to grenades, which can have a fuse between 1 and 5 seconds. They also have a bounce capability, so they can edit it to be the bounce of a glass. Like, you can imagine dropping a glass on the water and it just smashes, it doesn't bounce. Or the bounce of a basketball. You can imagine that bounces quite a lot. These are not affected by the wind, roll into crest into little holes nicely, and these also do 50 damage a pot. Some close range weapons, such as the fire punch and the dragon ball, not great on damage, but will send worms cascading either 30 degrees up or 30 degrees sideways, a short distance. Alongside these other worms include the prod, which they just go up to poke you and they go, "Oh!" and they launch about an inch, maybe less.
Oh my god, can you imagine, because the prod only works because a worm is, a small and not very heavy. Can you imagine prod on a full-size human? It would do literally nothing.
What's that, down by my foot? Oh, yes, I see.
But surely, talking of close-range weapons, the baseball bat is the big one, right?
Oh, yeah, baseball bat. That's, aimable, and it'll smash a worm a fair whack of distance. And at this point, you might be thinking, why would you want to smash a worm a fair whack of distance? I don't know if I said that. Fair whack of distance. A fair whack of distance. That's because, sadly, as you will know, worms drown in water and will instantly die on contact with it. Very sad, but very realistic. Just like the rest of the game, of course.
Yes.
Worms have also access to mines. They can drop these, and these will blow up proximity mines. You've got dynamite, and that's a big hitter. A well-placed dynamite will whip a worm of 75 of its health and launch it sailing across the sky. They also have access to a number of small arms, such as shotguns, the Uzi, the minigun if they get lucky, and the pathetic handgun. You won't see any worms using a handgun anytime soon. These all do in the order of 50 damage tops, except the handgun, which is crap, and the minigun, which can do up to 100, but realistically never will. You have a sheep. Worms have weaponized sheep, and these sheep aren't full-size sheep, they're worm-sized sheep, unless the worms are sheep-sized worms. I mean, it's never really specified.
Oh, that'd be scary.
That would be really scary.
I think they're supposed to be worm-sized sheep, because all the scenery is in proportion to a worm size, isn't it?
Some of it is, yeah. So a sheep will, once released, cascade across the landscape, barring and leaping and bleating and exploding upon demand. A very sad way to go. And then we go into the like mega heavy hitters, the rare weapons, the super weapons. The everyone's seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right? Of course you have. Everyone has. It's a classic British comedy. People who aren't British, you should watch it. You'll be like, what is this? This is ancient and old and terrible. I'll be like, that's what British comedy was like back then. The Holy Hand Grenade, much like a regular grenade, will explode when it lands, but it won't explode until it stops moving, whereupon it will release I was about to say the unholy scream, but I suppose it's a very holy scream. Hallelujah! And then it will explode for muchos damage. It could kill a worm outright, and it will launch them incredibly far. And then there's the two creme de la cremes, the banana bomb, throwing a banana that would explode into many other clusters, raining down, doing muchos damage. And of course, the inaugural concrete donkey, which orders an airstrike, which will just cascade constantly through the landscape until it falls into the sea.
Whilst making donkey noises.
Whilst making donkey noises. I can't go through every single weapon because it'd be ludicrous. So that's a good all-round taster of what they have available to them. Artillery, grenade.
Sorry, I was just going to say, as a quick one, is it not also worth mentioning airstrikes?
Oh yes, and airstrikes. Yeah, they have airstrikes. Come on in. They call them in. A plane comes along, drops some air, drops some missiles.
Yep.
Job done. Happy days.
So, and if you feel the need to use any other weapons whilst going through, you can just describe them as and when.
Oh, I suppose one thing just two things. They also have good ways of getting around. They have parachutes for falling down long ways. A bungee cord, which they'll never really use. A ninja rope for latching. Imagine the hook shot from Legend of Zelda, latching onto places, swinging around dexterously, and flying themselves across the arena. And also the blowtorch for burrowing into the ground, because worms can't do that by themselves. They need a blowtorch, just like in real life.
Or a pneumatic drill.
Or a pneumatic drill, yes, absolutely. Well, one of my favourite things was always to latch onto the ceiling with a ninja rope, equip the pneumatic drill, fling yourself off into the distance and hit the pneumatic drill, and then you just skid across the landscape doing like 5 damage. It was so stupid, but it looks really fun. So that is a rough guide to a worm.
It's just sounds like something you'd see in a nature documentary. And that was a rough guide to worms.
David Attenborough on worms. Oh dear. I'm not quite sure how we're going to cope with a turn-based into a non-turn-based system, but we'll work it out.
Yeah, I guess they could be in non-turn-based. They just have to do what they want.
I mean, honestly, they're worms. They're at a disadvantage being the size of a bullet. Well, maybe they're at an advantage because they're only the size of a bullet.
That's it. If they get hit, it will really hurt, and they could probably just be trodden on. But I mean, it would be hard to find them.
Excellent. Right. Let's find out where we're going, shall we?
Yeah. How are we going to do that?
Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to get out my... You know what? I fancy rolling my metal set of dice today.
Okay.
So, just going to get them out of this box. Here they are. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's got a good roll to it. Right. Are you ready?
I am. I'm ready for the die of death.
So, for those of you who weren't able to see what happened, which is everyone, I was holding up a cardboard box to roll it into because I don't want to roll it on my table to dent it. As I went to throw it in, instead of throwing it into the box, it hit the side of the box and bounced off and hit my computer mouse. But I then did successfully roll it into the middle, and I rolled episode 10.
Ooh.
And for episode 10.
Oh my shit. That means... See, are you aware of the film Pinocchio? Or the book Pinocchio? The story of Pinocchio?
I am aware of the film. I have seen it before. Oh, wait, I know where this is going.
So this fight is going to take place inside Monstro the Whale.
Oh my god. I love it. How they got there, who knows?
My then question was going to be, do you want to take the traditional film style of the whale, kind of like the usual cartoon being eaten by a whale thing, where it's just a big empty mouth with a bit of water in it? Or do you potentially want to take like the Kingdom Hearts version because it's got different rooms, platforming, and the such? That might be a bit too much, actually.
I feel like we should go with the traditional one.
Yeah, that's fine. So just one big empty room that's roughly mouth-shaped.
Yeah.
One end has an eternal pit to nowhere except death, because presumably it leads to the stomach. But it has like the dangly ball at the back of your mouth above it. The other end is closed in by teeth.
So there is a boat in there, at least.
It's a raft more than the boat, isn't it?
I think they got swallowed on a boat and then they make a raft to escape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other bit is surrounded by that. That's all I can see in there is a boat, maybe some bits of debris, and a shed load of water. Well,
yeah,
that bodes really well.
Oh shit, yeah, because worms will drown.
It's okay. This is how this goes. This is why it's the die of death and not the die of pleasant company. I mean, if it was the die of pleasant company, you know, what would number 10 be?
Pillow Factory.
Pillow Factory, yeah. Or a visit from Morgan Freeman.
Oh man, I'd love to have a fight at a visit from Morgan Freeman. It's just so random.
Wouldn't make any sense, would it? Right, okay, so got a big open pit, we've got a boat. Worms are obviously randomly spawned onto the map because that's how it works. So chances are there's going to be when the maps are really open, yeah, and the game spawned girders for them to be on.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm imagining there's probably 2 of them are floating on girders in the middle of Monstro. One of them is on the boat somewhere.
Obviously. And
one of them is probably near the teeth, but really precariously on like just a bit of gum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining. And I should introduce my worms, shouldn't I? It's the Pokemon team.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, I really like Pokemon. And so some of my favourite Pokemon are named as my worms team. So we have Starmie, Jolteon, Aerodactyl, and Dugtrio. Oh, I better decide who's where. Right, okay.
Please do.
I'm just going to draw a very vague map. So Starmie's the one by the teeth, Jolteon and Aerodactyl are on the floating platforms, and Dugtrio is on the boat.
I'm going to assume somehow the worms were already there.
Yeah.
Like maybe the worms live in there. And Lillith is there because she's just been eaten in a boat instead of like Pinocchio and or Geppetto.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how she's arrived.
It absolutely sounds like a Borderlands mission, doesn't it? Get eaten by the whale.
Absolutely, yeah. They're just been, hey, what am I doing today? Get eaten by a whale! Why? Explosions! Okay.
You are an ambassador of whales! Right, so I'm guessing that there's a big gulp. And we're going to ignore the fact that we're just going to pretend the worms survive this gulp and nothing happens to them, because that would be horrific. And Lillith comes flooding in on a boat. On a boat or a raft? What's she on?
On a boat. You said it was a boat.
Did. Okay, so she's going to be on the boat that goes the boat or a different boat?
Yeah, she'll be sat on the edge of the boat that Dugtrio is starting.
Okay. Wonderful. So she floods in. She probably doesn't know the worms are there.
No. Well, this is what I was going to say, actually. I reckon, you know how normally we start these off with someone will do an attack that doesn't hit, and then they'll be like, oh, now we have to fight.
Yeah.
I legit think that the worms will just get a free hit in because she will have absolutely no idea they're there or their attacks are coming because they're all small.
They are really small.
So I think there's no way that we can feasibly say she'll see this coming and dodge it, and then the fight will start, because I think she's just going to get hit by something.
Okay, that seems reasonable. As a reasonable note.
I mean, potentially more than one thing.
Worms have unlimited amounts of certain weapons and only certain amounts of some weapons. So bazooka and grenades are going to be the main choice of weapon here. Oh, given that we're in Monstro.
It's a cavern, isn't it? No airstrikes.
No airstrikes. Here's an idea for wind.
It would alternate based on turn, because it would be breathing in, breathing out.
Right, exactly. It's either going to be going in towards the boat or way out of the boat. You're thinking exactly the same as me, my friend. And it would be quite strong, I think, as a whale.
Yeah, probably. I mean, whales have big lungs.
Whales do have big lungs. Can confirm. So, old little Jolteon and Aerodactyl, they're pretty stuck on their platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Starmie equally. Let's pretend the wind's coming in right now because the lift's just been sucked in, right? So,
yep.
So it's a perfect opportunity for one of those three to get a bazooka shot in. Doug Trio, if he's going to fire, he's going to have to, the wind's going to come back. It's probably not the best idea.
Sure. Yeah, okay, so this is what I was thinking. To do your turn-based thing. They don't have to necessarily wait their turn, whatever, but you have to cycle through the worms in order. Like, they have to act in order.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But potentially you could have two of them do something before Lillith does, or, I don't know, they could do stuff at the same time as Lillith or whatever, but they have to go in order.
We'll work it out. So, Starmie, probably going to start with a fat bazooka shot across. Now, to be fair, it's quite a long shot. Now, how good are these worms? They're probably that's an interesting point. How good are they at shooting? What CPU level are they?
I don't know. I mean, you're playing the worms. I did air quotes on the word "playing," not that anyone can see it.
Yeah.
So, and you're pretty tip top at worms. So I'd say they're pretty good. There's no reason to just deliberately make them inaccurate stuff.
And Lillith is massive.
Yeah, that's it. It's the biggest target they've ever had to shoot at.
Yeah, I mean that's true. It is literally bigger than the entire arena they're normally in. So it's probably reasonable to say they're going to hit with most directly hitting weapons.
Yes.
All right, sweet. So old Starmie, the Nugget, is going to fire an old bazooki wookie straight across. Lillith might be just like, well, this is a bit weird. What's going on there? I've just been sucked into the whale.
I feel like she's just sort of sat on the edge of the boat, being like, man, what do I do now?
And then suddenly there's a tiny dink in her shield.
Right, but you say it's a tiny dink. As far as I'm concerned, yes, the actual explosion is smaller, but it's still an explosion. It would hurt just as much as an explosion, but just for a very, rather than I don't know, if somebody actually got shot by a bazooka, it would blow their entire body apart.
Yeah.
A worm-sized bazooka might just blow off the tip, the end of their finger or something. But it would still hurt. It's still being hit by an explosive. It's just a very small one.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think it's going to do to the shield then?
I mean, I think that it's got because a bazooka, I guess, is as far as worms are concerned, is a mid-range, a mid-powered sort of explosive. Yeah. So maybe it would do half her shield or something.
Okay.
She's just like, holy crap! What the shit was that?
What the shit was that?
So, I mean, I think she'd look around, but I don't think she'd necessarily see worms instantly. Because why would she be looking for them?
Okay.
But she would now certainly be on more alert rather than just idly sitting at the side of a boat.
At this point, I think, because the wind probably going to have changed, Jolteon's next in line.
It will now be going out.
A bazooka is a terrible idea, but he's got a nice open cavern. Everyone knows a shotgun's a good idea, and some people are going to think, shotgun in a giant cavern, how does that work? But it's worms, so just fires in a straight line, just picks them for 25. 2 shots.
In most video games, shotgun is a close range weapon, but not in worms.
No, worms.
In worms, it's got as much range as you need.
It's the longest range weapon ever. It's amazing. So I think she's just going to get a little dink, what is that? And then another one, just what? But she'd probably see where it's coming from. She's not, blind.
Yeah, she'd see the what's it called, muzzle flare.
Yeah, muzzle flare.
The flash of the gun shooting. So, I mean, I think really because two hits, the shotgun fires twice, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, the 2 hits from a shotgun does about the same damage as bazooka, doesn't it?
Yes.
Near enough.
Yeah.
So she's probably like, oh my god. So he's one of the ones on the little tiny floating platform.
Yes.
Isn't he?
Yes.
So she'll see that, be like, that's what one of them is. But also, crap, I don't have a shield anymore.
Yeah. Handily, she is capable of running.
Well, is she? She can run around the boat that she is on, but the water is probably waist deep for her. I mean, it's
Well, yeah, but I mean, think how often worms are used to shooting at static targets, aka all the fucking time, all the time.
That's true. She can be a moving target. But my point is, if she goes into the water, she'll be quite. I mean, she will be moving, but not quick. You can't really run through waist deep water.
Yeah. But boats. The boat isn't small.
No. She might go then, maybe behind a mast.
Okay. Yeah.
Something. I understand that she's probably wider than a mast, but
for the record, because I've drawn a boat with a mast on it. I had Dugtrio in front of the mast.
Cool.
Just for your reference.
So if she goes behind the mast, then she'll also be got cover from him.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. My only other thing I wonder is, yes, would she have seen the other floating platform?
That's a good question. I mean, when I just, plotted some things down arbitrarily, but I had Jolteon on a higher one and Aerodactyl on a lower one.
I don't think she would have then. If Aerodactyl had been on a higher one, possibly, if she was looking up towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But so she now knows where one of the worms is, which is a good start.
Especially when she has she's got a pistol and a sniper rifle and a shotgun and an SMG.
Yeah.
So she's run to hide behind this mast. Aerodactyl's up next. I don't know what the wind's doing, but it's going to be,
The wind would have changed again, wouldn't it? So it would now be going towards the boat because it would just alternate.
Yeah. There's not much he can do other than fire a bazooka and just try and hit a bit at the mast because it's a 2D world for him. Essentially, effectively, it's a 2D world in any line he looks. So just another missile.
Wait.
Going to come.
I have an interesting thought.
Yeah.
So physics-wise,
yes,
we would use real-life physics for scenery, right? Not worms physics.
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking, if you blow a hole out the scenery, everything floats. But if you're going to blow a hole in this mast, the mast will probably fall down, right?
Yeah, but equally, I don't think this hole is going to be that big.
Okay, that's fine. I was just wondering.
I mean, if you're thinking about a worm, they're going to be firing a bazooka bullet about the size of about the length of a 5p coin, something tops.
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing's going to come in and just make a little some splinters in the wooden pole in front of her. Oh, lovely.
Okay, so I feel like Lillith would probably want to use the sniper rifle because she's unaware of necessarily the other 3 worms at this point.
I agree. I think,
but it is a really small target. It would be hard. It would take her a while to line up.
Yeah, but equally behind a mast, she can get quite a decent amount of cover. So only like the gun and her arms are poking out, and her face, but behind the thing,
Yeah, so I feel like she'd be lining up the shot, but it would, where it's a very small target. I think like Dugtrio would have his chance to attack while she's aiming.
Dugtrio isn't in a very good position right now, so he's probably going to blowtorch through the bottom of the mast, so he can get himself into a better offensive position.
Right. Again, so this brings me up to real world physics and stuff. Would the mask then fall over if he's just blowtorch through the bottom of it?
Well,
and would the mask then catch fire if he's just blowtorch through the bottom?
Catching fire, unsure. We'll come to. Falling down, I would say no. It's kind of like having, if you've got, what's a good analogy? A tree, right? You just drill a hole through the tree.
I was going to say, if you've got like a Jenga tower and you take the middle one, bottom.
But yeah, exactly. His thickness isn't the thickness of the mast, so
no.
The hole he's boring is not going to implement much structural damage. I mean, if someone came on and went to assess it, they'd be like, "Oh, you need a new mast, mate." But it's not going to make it falter straight away.
Sure. I reckon it probably wouldn't catch fire because it's probably quite damp in there.
That's very good point. And the strong gusts, which will probably blow it out even if it did start smouldering straight away.
Got all fan it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. But there would probably be loads of like steam and stuff from like burning through wet.
A little wisp of smoke, like when you snuff out a candle.
Yeah, which Lillith probably won't notice because she's looking down the sniper scope.
But the detail is there, and that's the important.
Okay, so he's just blown torch through her.
Yeah.
Thing. As he hasn't like actually attacked Lillith, I don't see any reason for her to like be thrown off her aim or anything.
Oh, neither do I.
So I think she's gonna fire a shot and just snipe Jolteon off his platform.
I have no doubts in my mind that bullet is either going to hit Jolteon or the platform he's on and completely annihilate him. Yep. Even if it doesn't kill him with the damage, he's going in the drink.
Yes, yeah, that's it. I think he'll get hit, it'll knock him off his platform, he'll land in the water and drown. And also, it's an electric sniper rifle, so we'll be being electrocuted whilst in the water and drown. It will be, frankly, quite a horrific way to die.
And then a little caption would appear at the top of the screen saying, "What a way to go, Jolteon."
Yeah. And Lillith will be really confused by this text appearing in the sky.
It will come up on her what's the screen they use?
HUD.
Yeah, it'll come up on her HUD, like, what a way to go, Joey. And she'll be like, what the hell? I'm used to Borderlands humour, but this. In which instance, it's now back to Starmie. Starmie is not in a very good place, and then now the platform in the middle is gone. There's not much movement to do. No weapons are really viable other than a bazooka or a shotgun, realistically. Maybe a homing missile, actually. They do just start with 2 homing missiles. Because Lillith is behind cover. So yes, Starmie will go for a homing missile, which obviously takes a little while to aim up. So Lilith's going to have some, fires of the shot.
Well, really, it would just give Lillith time to put her sniper rifle away. But again, Lillith doesn't know that the other 3 are there.
Yeah.
So won't necessarily be trying to do anything.
Yeah.
If anything, she'll go back to relaxing slightly.
Yeah. Which is probably a benefit, actually, because the way a homing missile works is for those benefit unpaid worms, they'll select the spot they want the homing missile to home in on, fire it like a bazooka. It will have a short triggering period, in which case it will then arc towards that spot and then just loop around it or until it hits something. So if she's then relaxing and walking a waff, oh my god, you can tell I was pissed last night. Walking off or away, and then perhaps that homing missile, in the time it takes to get fired and primed, misses where she was, and then just starts spinning around in empty space and explodes.
Okay, so I feel like Lillith might take a sort of nominal amount of splash damage, but again, it will be sort of, her shield would have come back by now, and it would just be
absolutely,
yeah. But again, she'll be like, what the holy crap was that? Like, she won't know where it's coming from.
What's another one?
All of a sudden, there's, and then suddenly there's like a small hole blown in the deck of the ship.
Yes.
What? What's going on? It's mad. But again, she'll just trying to be looking around. I don't think she'd be looking at the teeth. She'll probably be looking for another small flying platform thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what she's seen before.
And conveniently for her, it is Aerodactyl on the small flying platform next.
Yes, with the wind going towards the teeth.
So that'll be a grenade job or a shotgun job.
Yeah.
I like mixing it up, so it'll be a grenade job. That's a 3-second fuse, max power, lobbed in an arc. Probably would either bounce short of the deck and bounce over her, or bounce off of her and explode in front of her. Because my timing is never. Well, sometimes it's impeccable, but probably more often than not, it's not.
I know the idea. So it hits Lillith like in the face or something. She's like, and then it like just falls to the floor and like blows up.
It just bounces on the floor like a pea-sized thing. Like a pea hits her in the face, bounces off the deck and explodes.
So yeah, and then it's like, there's another small hole in the deck, and she's kind of like, something just hit me in the face. Did like 1 damage. I just totally wasn't expecting. This is like, But do you think that would have been enough for her to, I don't know, would she have seen where that was coming from? Possibly, because she was looking for it anyway.
Yeah, possibly.
So again, I think she'd try and snipe it. Right, so she'd get her sniper rifle back out and sort of start aiming up.
Wonderful.
So it would be Dugtrio's turn with the wind heading towards the boat. Not that that necessarily matters because he's on the boat. Underneath, essentially, he'll come out the mast by Lilith's feet, won't he?
Yeah, he will. That sounds like the ultimate plan for a dynamite, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll walk through, lay a little dynamite, make a little love, get down tonight. And by get down tonight, I mean run away before he gets exploded.
Run away!
Run away!
So I feel like just as Lilith's about to take the shot at Aerodactyl, the dynamite goes off.
So
she's
aiming around, finds, and the dynamite explodes at her foot.
That's it. So yeah, she's like, just as she pulls the trigger, so it would, like, knock her out the way. So the bullet would like whiz past Aerodactyl. It would probably have a small little worm poo, and she'd sort of be knocked off balance. I mean, she'd still probably be like, I feel like she's on, that, I don't know what the name, I guess a lunge pose. Like she's got one knee down, and I feel like that's how you'd sit while you were sniping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bullet would then like just miss Aerodactyl, and she'd sort of be knocked onto maybe both knees or something, like, or have to put her hand down to sort of steady herself or something. She wouldn't actually fall over because the size of the dynamite is tiny. but then
Yeah.
it would like wipe her shield out, and she'd be like, what the hell just happened?
It's more the like shock value and the like, and a whack to the back of the the Achilles area than a actual forceful blow that takes her down. Right.
But yeah, so she'd be like, something just exploded underneath me, and that would make it click to her that there's more than one of them still about, and maybe the sniper rifle wasn't the best idea.
I mean, it probably is the best option for picking off some of them, but
it takes long. It takes a long time to aim.
that's true.
So I think probably go. I don't know, because I don't even know if she'd try and hide behind the mask again. She might get off the boat and just try and hide behind the boat. Oh, how much is there room for her to hide behind the boat without falling down the infinite pit of despair and death?
Yeah, absolutely.
By which I mean down the back of the throat. Okay. So yeah, I think she's going to get off the boat and sort of try and hide behind that until her shield recharges.
Okay, so she's falling down. Starmie fires another bazooka bullet.
Wait. Starmie now has the wind going towards the teeth.
Oh, okay. In which case, it'll be a shotgun. But in this time, Lillith manages to get up and runs towards the back of the boat, and Lillith just sees a little, like, boom, like, fly past her because worms aren't used to shooting at moving targets. And it's over long distances as well. The shotgun's actually quite hard to aim.
Yes. So it would just be like, loads of like tiny little holes appear in the deck, like the shrapnel going into the floor.
Just two little bullets, a little
and like
thump,
splinters.
and a little thump just as she goes over. She's like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then Lillith sort of jumps off the back of the boat and sort of sits behind it for a minute. Whilst Aerodactyl, with wind going towards the boat, thinks about what to do on his little floaty platform.
He's going to use some girders, or a girder, and start trying to make his way towards the boat with girders. Got 3 of them.
He's not going to jetpack.
Jetpacks don't exist in Worms 2.
Do they not?
No, you had girders and ninja rope.
Alright.
So he's just going to plonk a big, long diagonal girder down and jump onto it. But that will make it a lot more obvious to see.
Yep.
That's what he's doing. Onto that.
Okay. So I think Lillith has had her shield just about taken out twice. I reckon she's maybe taken sort of between 5 and 10% of her actual health.
Yeah.
Like she's pretty much all right, but her shield sort of come back. I like the idea that she'll sort of maybe just try and peer over the boat to see if she can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And then maybe like notice the little hole in the mast.
Absolutely, yeah.
She wouldn't. I don't know if she'd necessarily see Dog Trio in it. Not Dog Trio. It is Dog Trio.
It is Dog Trio.
Not Dog Trio in it. But she'd be like, that's weird. But then go back to aiming. I don't know. She might try the sniper rifle again, actually, from where she is. But go back to aiming at the small little platform that's now got slightly bigger, she's noticed.
Yes. So before it would have been, because it would have been, in this, it would have been horizontal. A very thin cross section. Now there's a slant one, so it's a lot bigger of a cross section.
So she'd be lining up the shot at that, but then it would be Dogtrio's turn.
Well, unfortunately for Dugtrio, he is now. I know because he retreated. Actually, she probably would have seen Dugtrio because he would have retreated through the hole of the mast to get away from the dynamite.
It's true.
So she probably would have absolutely seen him in front of the mast and been like, "What?"
Yes, a little worm sat there with a dynamite in it.
Just like, hello.
In which case, then she probably wouldn't start sniping at the platform. She'd maybe fire a shotgun shell at the mast.
At the mast, yeah.
Well, at like the bottom of the mast, like the hole. I feel like the hole is too small to try and shoot, but just shoot a shotgun shell in that sort of area.
How accurate are the shotguns in Borderlands?
I mean, it depends how close you are. The closer you are, the more accurate, because they spread, don't they? Like sort of like shrapnel.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd kill him. Maybe he'd take some damage.
Some like splash damage.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, her shotgun is far better than his shotgun.
Well, it's just the shots that come from it are much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, proportionally, I guess. Like each bit of shrapnel is roughly the size of him.
Yeah. Okay, but he'd get hit and bounce back.
Yeah.
He'd probably end up in like one of the craters in the wood.
Yeah. There'd be like the mast would probably like have like splinters of it like sort of shatter out and stuff. And
yeah. It's very pretty.
I don't think it would sort of fall or anything, but it would be a bit structurally unsound at this point.
Okay.
And bear in mind that her shotgun was a fire shotgun, was it not?
I don't recall.
I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know either, actually. It's annoying. She had the static sniper rifle. I'm sure she had the static sniper rifle, corrosive SMG, and the other two were fiery. The shotgun and the pistol were fiery.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was what we said.
Let's go with it.
So, there'd be like... Again, I think that it would probably be too wet to catch fire from one shotgun shell.
Yeah.
But it would just sort of, there'd be like a few sort of burn marks, maybe.
Yeah, and it would have been Doug Trio's turn, but it got interrupted because he got damaged, because that's how Worms works.
So you're swapping it straight to Starmie's turn?
But yes, once Doug Trio finishes slipping down, it would then walk back over to Starmie, because...
But at least this time Starmie would have the wind.
The wind. Ooh. And Lillith has raised her face, but again, it's another really long shot. And although it is the second homing missile of 2, I think that's probably the best bet for Starmie is another homing missile.
Okay.
Just because of the distance. It's so long.
Yeah.
Especially now she's at the back of the boat, which is the other end of the tee. So another prime and another fire. A tiny little pea-sized rocket is coming towards Lillith.
I don't think Lillith would see where the missile came from because she wouldn't have been paying attention to it. But due to the distance stuff, I think she might notice it coming.
Yeah, fair. I mean, she's alert now to small things.
Yeah, that's it. She's starting to realise what she's actually looking for. So I think she'd maybe be able to like duck under it or something, and maybe it would like hit the edge of the boat just above her or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, all she needs to do is duck, and the missile would probably just reel around about where her head was, and then fly off one random direction, and either behind her or into the boat.
You say that, but if it just spins round its like thing for a while, doesn't it eventually just stop homing and fall to the floor?
Yeah, it stops at some point in its arc and then just flies off. So, like, imagine if you were spinning a conker and then cut the string. You don't know which way it's going to go. It depends on where it was.
Sure.
So,
I was just going to say if it fell down, and maybe it would like land at Lilith's feet or something. But no, if it's going to go,
I think chances are it's going to fly behind or into the boat. But it might, if it went into the boat, it might have a little bit of a splash.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just too many explosions.
Too many explosions.
Okay, I think from this point, Lillith maybe doesn't necessarily want to get herself seen again. Because she's suffering attacks and she's not wholeheartedly sure where all of them are coming from.
Yeah.
So I think she's just going to try and stay ducked and walk around the boat, maybe. Just try and...
Okay.
Which obviously will actually only help her evade Dog Trio. The other two will still be able to see her sneaking.
Yeah.
And it won't really help. But she doesn't... Well, I suppose she'd know where one of them was. So yeah, she'd be trying to sort of sneak around to try and get a better view at where Jolteon is, but being unaware that Starmie has a really good view of everything.
I mean, it depends on how far around the boat she gets as to whether Aerodactyl will actually see her. Because if she's still, like only halfway around the side, Aerodactyl won't be able to see anything and will just carry on girdering across. Whereas if she gets all the way to the front...
Well, I think she will aim at getting all the way. But for now, she'd be maybe just around the side.
Okay. In which case, Aerodactyl will just do another girder. A plonk and a jump, and now he's a little bit higher and a little bit closer to the boat. He's got one girder left.
Yep. So I think Lillith would just keep on sneaking because she's going quite slowly because she's in the water and she's trying not to make too much noise or stuff. So I mean, I feel like Dog Trio can probably have a go as well.
But Dog Trio doesn't really know where she's gone, and the border of the boat is going to be quite high.
Yeah.
So he's probably just going to throw a grenade arbitrarily, maybe a cluster bomb, a 1 second cluster just over the side. Just randomly. I don't know where I'm going, and it'll probably completely miss. Just fly across, explode, and do nothing. But Lillith will see a little, almost like a party popper, go off behind her.
Yeah, so there's a few like splashes of water. And, okay. So I feel like Lillith would now be around to the front of the boat, so Starmie could see her, but she'd sort of...
And she can see some floating platforms, which are pretty close to the boat, with a tiny worm on it.
But she'd maybe just use the pistol, like try and get a quicker shot off. But it would depend on what Starmie does.
I think she's well within her capabilities to draw a pistol and shoot Aerodactyl before Starmie. But even if Starmie is doing something before the effect of that is fulfilled.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so she'll fire some shots off at Aerodactyl. And she'll be like...
Yeah, and he's on a girder, so I don't think there's even much chance for the missing. I think that Aerodactyl is another one who's going in the drink.
Yep.
Shot off the first platform, skids down his second one, which is orientated poorly, and flops in. And on the HUD comes up, Aerodactyl is sleeping with the fishes.
Which is still really confusing.
But then she does get a ping in the face from a shotgun shell.
Yeah, which again, we would just like do loads of damage to her shield. And she'd be like, and she still has no idea where it's coming from because she wasn't looking that way.
And then another ping as well because it's a 2-shot weapon.
Yeah, so yeah, I think she'd know roughly what direction Starmie, in the fact that it's not on the boat. It's somewhere between her and the teeth, but she wouldn't know where. So I guess she'd sort of be looking that way, really unsure. Well, Dugtrio can do something. And I guess Dugtrio would know roughly where she is now because he's just seen Aerodactyl get shot.
Yeah. So he's just going to walking/jumping towards the front of the boat to be able to get a better angle. So he's going to be walking for a good 10-15 seconds before he gets there. So Lillith is probably going to be able to spot Starmie at the front of the teeth in this time.
Okay.
Because, although, don't get me wrong, the worm's small, but she's probably able to, just scan with a sniper scope to help zoom in and spot things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if she isn't intending to use it to fire.
Sure, okay. I mean, if she's using a scope to find it, she might as well fire.
Absolutely. Starmie the worm, as described earlier, is precariously balanced near the water on some guns.
Yeah.
As we all know, shots include large amounts of ricochet and blast.
I don't know if it would necessarily knock her off. Although she is precariously balanced, it would push her from the angle she's being shot. She'd be pushed back against the teeth.
I was imagining quite a steep thing with just a small lip, so I think it's going to bounce back into the teeth and then roll down and then down the gum and into the drink.
Okay.
I mean, you can imagine what the blast is like from a bazooka that hits dead on, but this is a sniper rifle from a full-size human being.
That's true.
It's going to have some significant blast.
That's true. All right.
So I think Starmie falls in, and then I can't remember any other Worm's water messages, unfortunately. It's Starmie wanted to test the water. There you go, pops up. At which point, Dugtrio would have finished worming his way up to the front of the boat. There's a little bit of a lip off the front of the boat, but that's okay, because he's the heavy-duty guy, and he's going to throw a sheep.
Oh, shit.
Oh, sheep! So Lilith's probably going to hear a small bleating, followed by a tiny kind of acorn-sized sheep jump over the...
She'd be she'd hear the bleat, turn round just in time to see this sheep just sort of hear it crash into her nose and
majestically crest over the boat and fall into her face and explode.
Yeah, that'd hurt a lot.
It would hurt a lot.
So, I would imagine that would just knock Lillith off balance, she'd fall over backwards.
Yeah, okay.
She'd be briefly underwater. Her shield down, ready. I reckon Dugtrio would probably get another attack off because she just wouldn't be expecting a sheep to explode.
If she's fallen down into the water, we know that homing missiles can go underwater, but no other weapons can. So he's probably just going to
Actually, you say that. I reckon one of the sort of shotgun, handgun, Uzi, minigun would probably work underwater. You just never need to do that in worms because things are dead underwater. That's
a fair point. But you can't see her if she's just falling because it's not the shallowest water. So
no,
just randomly fire an Uzi. But yeah, so I think randomly fire an Uzi. But he's got to jump on. He's got to do his backflip up on top of the ledge first.
Yep.
So that's why Lillith hasn't.
Yeah, and although Lillith has fallen underwater, she would be in the process of getting up. I imagine she wouldn't want to stay underwater.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. So then Uzi's going to start firing. They have a good spread.
So I reckon, I don't know, maybe because although he doesn't know exactly where to aim, he's got a good rough idea. And like you say, Lillith is a big target compared to what he's used to. I reckon at least half of the easy shots are going to hit, maybe more.
Probably.
So I think Lillith will be quite worse for wear at this point. I don't think she.
I agree. However, she does now also know where Dugtrio is, and Dugtrio is also worse for wear from the earlier shotgun attack.
Yes. So I reckon what's going to happen now is as she's getting up and out of the water, she's going to use her phase walk.
Yes, this is what I was imagining too.
Yeah, so basically Dugtrio is just going to kind of see an underwater burst of fire. See, loads of steam and stuff coming up. It would look really cool. And maybe a few bubbles.
Doesn't she only burst into flame when she comes out of the phase walk?
No, on entering and exiting with the right skill set.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Carry on.
And then I feel like Dugtrio would have it as an auditory thing because she's invisible. But obviously she'd be moving with much greater speed than normal. But he'd just kind of hear it, and maybe he'd see the water ripples, but he'd just hear the water around him, just going and then maybe hear the deck, the footsteps on the deck behind him, as it's just
as he clambers up.
Yeah, and then there's another burst of flame, which I reckon would be above him. I don't think he'd necessarily be hit by it.
Oh, really? I was imagining that it would literally just launch him flying into the abyss.
No, I don't think so, because it's usually sort of at her waist, chest height, sort of torso area.
Surely it's an explosion from all around her, you know. Even if it has an origin kind of roughly in her centre.
I don't know. I don't know how three-dimensional it is. I think it's like a ring more than a ball.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. Personally, I was imagining that blast from that would sweep old Dougie Wuggy into the Bluey Wuey. That's the drink for people who aren't familiar with stupid talk.
Potentially. I mean, that could happen. I sort of feel like it doesn't matter too much because if it doesn't happen, like Dogtrio would turn around and just get a face full of shotgun.
Yeah, or even a boot.
Oh yeah, she might just stamp on him.
Yeah. Ending 1. The phase walk explosion launches Dogtrio sailing. Phase blast launches him sailing across the sea and into the sea. That's right, both across and into. Ending 2. Phase walk explosion does not do that. And as he turns around, swinging up his bazooka for aim, he gets crushed by a large leg. Well, it's actually a normal size leg. End 3. The same again, but he gets shot by a shotgun all over the face.
And body.
And body, yeah. And death. And then it would be like, Pokemon have been eliminated. You are victorious.
And she did like loads of things going, yeah!
Yeah! Then it would come up with like a top worm, and it would say Dogtrio. Well, I know no top, but then winning team with most damage would be Lillith.
She'd be frankly very confused by the whole thing. But alive.
Yeah, and she'd be like, it's just another day in Borderlands, isn't it? I've seen it all. That is how that definitely happens.
Yeah, it sure is. So
it was a very watery place.
It was, which is a bit unfortunate for the worms, I feel.
But hey-ho, it was amusing nonetheless.
Oh man, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was a great environment for a fight to take place. I really enjoyed that the worms were in it. I think it's a shame because I'd have liked to have seen more of them.
An unfortunate loss, but you will always stay in my heart, Starmie and Jolteon. Aerodactyl and Dugtrio not so much, but Starmie and Jolteon are my faves. Let's celebrate the fact that Lillith got her Mishmash Mayhem.
Lillith did get her Mishmash and a Mayhem. Isn't that wonderful? We've got our second Hall of Fame person.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. She enters into the Hall
That's
of Fame
exciting.
Alongside
Drax the Destroyer.
Drax the Destroyer. Lovely stuff, which means next week we'll have 2 new competitors.
2 new people.
Or arbitrary characters. They might not be people. Just to clarify.
That's true.
So, who would like to go first? I got a character who features in... Well, where do they feature in? So, it's a cyborg of a very famous person. Yeah, essentially a cyborg / mechanized person of a very famous person.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
You're like, what on earth is this?
Yeah, some sort of mecha human.
Mecha human.
But a famous human.
A mecha famous human, yeah. I wonder who that could be.
Robo David Beckham.
Robo David Beckham. My God, I'd play that game. I wouldn't really. I don't know football, but so what are you doing? Who's in yours?
So my new character, ready for episode 11. In some ways, it's quite nice. Everything's starting anew. Episode 11. It's like the new episode 1. But my new character is a character I think originally from a graphic novel. Might be a comic. I think it's a graphic novel though.
Yeah.
Popularized by some films that came out a few years ago. But they are a very kind of dark take on superheroes.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Yeah, but also, despite being a dark take on superheroes, they're also kind of comedy films, and I assume the original book.
Alright, okay.
So yeah, but she is a character from those, and I think it will be cool. I will look forward to her fighting, clearly, some sort of robot famous person, like Ed Sheeran with shoulder-mounted rocket launchers.
I love it.
Just trying to think of other robot famous.
You'll kick yourself when you think of who it is, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, why didn't I think of that person straight away?"
I mean, when you said mechanized famous person, my initial thought was some sort of robot Abe Lincoln. I don't know why.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a robot Abe Lincoln has been in a few things, like maybe The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure there was one in Phineas and Ferb as well.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, so that's it for this week.
Yeah, man, what a crazy episode.
Crazy.
But sure, what you want for episode episode 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Something shining and lovely.
But yeah, so thank you everyone for listening.
Yes,
please,
indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, please tell your friends and your not friends and anyone else you think will enjoy this podcast. Tell them to listen to it because it's fun. And you can talk to us on the Twitter at podcastmmm. Tell us how you think that fight would have gone. Tell us what you would have named your worms.
Absolutely, tell us what you would have named your worms.
And yeah, be really cool. You can also on Twitter you can suggest people who you'd like to see fight. Obviously, we had a suggestion from Rob today. Thanks again, Rob, for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also as well as seeing characters you want fight, you can also suggest places for the fights to take place,
such as inside the whale.
Inside Monstro the whale. I mean, that wasn't a fan suggestion, but
no,
that's a crazy thing that I come up with. But yeah, but if you want to suggest things, that would be cool. I mean, I understand that if you do suggest a place, it only has like a 1 in 20 chance of each episode. So, but the more fan suggestions we get, the more likely we'll get one.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been part of TTSS Productions that you can find on TinkerTailorSoldierSponge.com, where there are podcasts and blogs aplenty. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Yowza! It's Bowser!
Yowza, it's Bowser. Oh my god, is it Mecha Bowser?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't relate to anything at all. No.
Mecha Bowser. Has there ever been a Mecha Bowser?
It was a good statement.
Okay, that's fine. Bye!
Catch you all late.